Joining me now, Ben Domenech, publisher of The Federalist, and Guy Benson, who's a Fox News contributor and a political editor at townhall.com. Great to see you both. So, Ben, I'll start with you. If you had to, give me your top two likely from Team Trump, who would they be?
I think at this stage you have to consider the top two to include Newt Gingrich, to include Chris Christie, and I think that that's an interesting dynamic because these are two people who have been very significant surrogates for him on the campaign trail. What you want in a vice presidential selection is someone who's media savvy, who's tested, who's a known quantity, and who can be a good surrogate for the candidate. You heard Gingrich doing that just the other day. The difference between the two of them, I would say, is that Chris Christie actually has a background that is pretty checkered when it comes to issues like judges, whereas someone like Gingrich would reassure, I think, a lot of conservatives that when it comes to the Supreme Court nomination, they could trust a Trump-Gingrich ticket to deliver on those items. He certainly is making a play for it, and clearly wants it. And I think that this is a move that would be smart for Trump to make.
And smart. So it would help him secure the difficult white male vote that he's struggling so. Oh wait. I mean, that's what people are saying, Ben. I didn't hear anybody on that list that was not a white male, and the one that was just given by her before. Listen, but I mean, that assumes that logic by these pundits assumes that if he picks Joni Ernst, who took herself out of it today, the Iowa senator, that women are going to say, "I'm voting for Trump." Women who do women or African Americans or Hispanics really vote based on the gender or color or heritage of the running mate? I'll ask you that, Ben, and then I'll go to Guy.
It doesn't really work that way. From my perspective, what you see in this list that Trump, at least the names that have been publicly available, there's always the possibility that there's some dark horse out there that we're not talking about. I think a lot more of it has to do with enforcing his right flank, with making sure he doesn't lose any conservative votes who would have voted for Mitt Romney last time around when it comes to the fall.
Guy, do you agree Christie and Newt are likely the top two?
Well, look, I don't pretend to lay any claim to expertise on Donald Trump's psyche or thought processes at any time. That being said, I do think, based on what we've seen from Trump himself and from comments from Corey Lewandowski, the fired campaign manager, is that Trump was prioritizing two things in this search. The first is someone who's experienced in Washington, knows policy, knows D.C., knows how the inner workings all play out. He's also looking for someone with whom he is personally very comfortable. If those are the top two items or bullet points on the agenda, I think that probably points to Newt Gingrich.
What do you think of that ticket, Guy? What do you think of that ticket, Trump, Gingrich?
Well, I think that there would be some flaws. Newt Gingrich has some significant negatives that he brings to the table, including his unfavorability rating among voters. That being said, Newt has a lot of currency with many conservatives. He is fluent on policy issues and is very effective as a surrogate, and certainly would not have any compunction. In fact, he would relish being an attack dog against the Democratic ticket.
Can you imagine a debate with Newt Gingrich? People would tune in. That might get more ratings than that. No, it won't. Never mind. But I get a lot of ratings because he's a good debater. It's great to see you both.
Thanks, Megan.